idea of button masala is that everybody should learn a simple technique, and instead of relying on design and designers, they can make their own garments. So this is a fabric, and I'm just going to show it on myself. What you need is you can actually use a coin, or you can use a peanut here in this case, or like a plastic ball, or sequins, or buttons. We also have buttons. So you can pretty much use everything or anything that is round. The idea is that whatever you're using should not tear the fabric. You can also use like plastic caps you can also use like a bigger object. So what I'm going to do is, so what you do, let's say I want to drape this around my body. Yeah. So the way to put this button is you put whatever thing inside the fabric. Yeah. Leave दोनों तरफ से बराबर का स्पेस छोड़ना पड़ेगा. बिल्कुल नजदीक में नहीं रख सकते. You can't keep it very close to the fabric. You have to keep it away from the fabric. So there is enough space for it to cover the fabric. And then you hold it like this. Yeah, this is the grip. इसको ऐसे पकड़ना है, और इसको ऐसे पकड़ने के बाद में ये रबर बैंड लेना है. रबर बैंड आप कोई भी ले सकते हैं. मेरे पास ये डेंटल रबर बैंड है जो मार्केट में मिलता है. You can also, आप जो नॉर्मल रबर बैंड है उसको भी इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं, या फिर धागे से भी बांध सकते हैं. रबर बैंड थोड़ा फास्ट होता है, इसलिए रबर बैंड इज द मोस्ट रिकमेंडेड. अगर आपके पास रबर बैंड नहीं है, if you don't have a rubber band right now, then you can always use. So what you have to do is to take the button, leave, don't keep it very close to the edges, leave enough space for it to cover the button, and then you put it around like that. Just hold it like this. Take the rubber band. The thing that you have to remember is you don't have to pull the rubber band too much. If I pull the rubber band, then I can keep taking it around. You don't have to take it around that much. You just have to take it around enough to the rubber band will tell you when to stop. So it's probably 3 rounds. You pull the thing and see if it is tight enough. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, this won't come off anymore. Now, if I want to attach this to this, then I can take another button, put it on this side, for example. I'm just taking another rubber band. Yeah. Now, this is the rubber band that I've attached. I'm just going to take the same rubber band and put it around this. So this is connected. So this is your first joinery. This is how you connect. The first joinery is this. The second is you can take the rubber band from here and put it over this. So you have now double the rubber band, and this is strong enough. So all the garments that you see or you saw in the pictures are made using either double rubber band like this, or single rubber band, or the other joinery which I'm going to show you now. So this is how you can attach this. Now I can bring this fabric from here, and maybe I can attach this here. Now before I go on to attach the other one, I will just show you how other things would look if you attach. So I can also attach like a stone. So maybe I can put a stone here, if you see. So there's a stone here. Yeah, I can attach it with that as a stone. I can also attach this cap. The beauty of this is that there is always the reverse also is possible. So if you look at it, so this is a bottle cap. So if you have nothing else to put right now, you can actually find anything and put inside. Now all of this, if you pull, this will not come out. So it has to be just tight enough to and not so tight that you can't open it again, because the whole idea is that you should be able to open it. I can also put a coin. Now I will show you how to put the coin on the other side. So I'm putting the coin from this side, so this is actually inside. You can see the coin on this side, but if you see, it shines. So you actually can see the coin. So the back of everything is you can see. So this is how I put. Now I'm going to show you how to attach. Yeah. So this is again, if I have to attach this part again to So I've attached this to this, and then I can attach this bit to that. So all I have to do is, so one of the other ways that I can work on this is that I can actually take this and overlap this, which I will show you later with the help of another fabric. And right now I'm just going to, oh, it's too tight for me. But anyways, I will manage. Yeah. So this is connected. Now, if you want to connect any of these things, you can always connect. I'll just show you how to. So I will show you how to attach another piece of fabric to it. So if I want to attach another piece of fabric, I can probably put one button here and connect it, or I can put one button here, put this underneath, and put this over. Yeah? So now this is connected. Now if I want to connect this to this, I will take this again, put this underneath, and I will connect this. So you can keep connecting by so it's slightly difficult to do it on yourself, but you can actually do it. So I can keep connecting it like this, if you understand what I'm saying. I hope this bit is clear. If this bit is clear, then I can move on and show how to attach other, show it on a real garment, how to do this.
So there is a question, and I think this you can answer when you show it on the actual garment, is how do you calculate the amount of cloth that you would require?
How to calculate? See, generally, let's say if I put a button, like, I'll just show you that as well. Let's say if this is the piece of fabric that is what I need. So you can calculate the length that you need. For example, I need it this long. Yeah. How do if I'm going to put 10 lines of buttons here, 1, 2, 3, then the amount of fabric that I need extra is the amount of fabric that is the width of the button into 2. So if I put just one line of button like that, then I need, like, if this is 1 inch, then I need 2 inch extra fabric at the end of the fabric or wherever. Yeah. If I need put 2 of these buttons one after another, it will reduce the length like this. Yeah. So if this is 1 inch, then 1 inch and double it up. So 4 inches is what I need extra. So every time I put a line of button, you can just double up the width of the button, and that's what you take extra. Also, you can always take little bit extra and then just reduce, because you can always, for example, if I want to reduce if I have this much extra, I can always reduce it by taking this, yeah, and I can just reduce the fabric by putting an extra button in the middle. Now this is reduced, yeah. If I put another button in the middle, it'll further reduce the, so every time you put the button, it'll reduce the length of the fabric. And this has reduced the length of the fabric by about 1, 2, 3, 3 to 6 inches has been already reduced because of, so it has reduced 6 inches this way and about 2 inches this way. So that's how you calculate the thing. But I will also show you how to calculate that by putting the fabric on the dress form. So what the good thing is, you can always remove the button and you have your fabric back. That's the beauty of this technique, that you can always get your fabric back. So there are basically 2 joineries. One is one button to another button, and one by overlapping the button on top of each other, which I will show you again. So you take this and this, and then you put this one on top of this rather than attaching another button, and this is done. Please make sure you check the tightness of the rubber band before you, so this is good enough, yeah. And this is a stronger joinery than the rubber band joinery, so that's how it is. So what I'm going to show you is, I have a piece of garment right here, which I'll show you how it works. What we have done here is, we have already put the buttons in the fabric, yeah, in the corner. This is the piece of fabric. This is the total fabric. which basically is going to convert into a piece of one shoulder, or a fabric like a garment like that, or a garment which is actually like this. So you can actually choose how the fabric is put around the body. So if you don't know how much fabric is really required, whatever fabric you have, you can put it around the body and see where it goes. So I have two pieces of these. This is about 2 meters of fabric. This is 1 meter, and the 1 meter is there. And usually 2 meters is enough to make a complete dress. A top would need about 1.5 meters. Also, it depends on how many buttons you're putting. So this is, we've already put the buttons here. We start from the corner. And go down. It will naturally tell you how much buttons to put, and you don't have to worry. So if you want to know how to put a button in like an equal distance, either you can do the marking. Like in this case, we haven't done a marking, but you can always do the marking. In the case of checks fabric, the marking is already done for you. So you have buttons already placed in the right amount in the checks, so you have equal distance happening already. So if you're not very sure, then you can start with checks fabric in the beginning, and the checks would allow you to give you right. So in this case, this is 2 pieces of fabric. This is 1 piece of fabric, and this is the second piece. And the buttons were put exactly in the same place. So when this has to be connected, then you can take a rubber band from here, and you can connect it onto the. I'm just connecting one to another. Now this is connected. So I've just taken one button from here and connected to this one. So this is how you can connect. You can also you can open it up. So I can actually just open this up. So if I open this up, this can all open up as much as you want. So it's very quick, and you can actually change the shape and form of the fabric. So if I open it completely, this will come off, and this will be actually 2 pieces of fabric. So if I remove this,
and do you wash the garments with the buttons and the rubber bands?
That's a good question. You can wash the fabric with the buttons and rubber band, not a problem. It's a washable. The fabric, the material that you're putting inside the fabric, rubber band is washable. The fabric is washable. It's only the question of what you're putting inside. We usually use synthetic because it's lightweight. But if whatever you put, you just have to know that if that can be washed or not. That's it. And you can machine wash it, hand wash it. There is no problem. No dry cleaning though, because dry cleaners usually remove the rubber band because they don't know what to do with it. They've never seen a garment like this, so they usually remove the rubber band. The only problems I have faced with some of the clients is that they call back and say, the dry cleaner removed the rubber bands. Other than, there has absolutely never been a single complaint about wardrobe malfunction or otherwise. So
and sorry, yeah. Does the rubber band tend to wear out in heat and humidity?
The rubber band that we use in a normal day, that will wear off in about 2 years, 1.5 years, depending on heat. But the rubber band that we use, this is the rubber band, which is available in the market. You get it in black usually, and some colors sometimes. They work 5-6 years. We have garments which are 6 years old and they never come off. The thing about it, that even if one of them comes off, you can always replace it. So that's the easiest part.
Okay. Right now, there's just a question about this fabric. Right now, what you're using is a knit jersey.
Yeah, it's a viscose knit. It's not so much, it's not a lycra, but it is a naturally stretch fabric. Knit is the stretch fabric. So we've already put, I will show you the back of it. The back of it is also very beautiful. If you loosen up the rubber band, this is like 3-4 rounds in every button. If you loosen up the rubber band, then it will show you more of the back. So it can show you, like in this case, there is a lot more back is visible. because it's not, and here it is tight rubber band, so it's less. But the back, so it is also reversible. You can wear it this side or that side. So that's the beautiful part of it. So we have two fabrics here. We have two fabrics. This is what we'll use for the front and the back. The front and back are the same. So I'm just going to attach this one to that one by overlapping it. Yeah. So I've taken this, which is like, and this is the front. I'm just going to put them here and attach them so that they become one piece now. So I'm just attaching two pieces together. Yeah. This is how I'm attaching the, so I'm just, you can only just take the first button and connect it to the first button, but I'm just connecting two so that it has a wider strap. So for example, this is now connected. Yeah. So this is the, now you can also make a garment which is actually like this. But I'm doing a one shoulder for you guys now. It's easier. You can also drape it on somebody. You can always drape it on somebody by, if you don't know, if you don't have a dress form, you can drape it on yourself. You can make the garment on yourself. So we've now attached the, I hope you guys can see it. So first what we'll do is, what you have to do is the garments only hang on 5 places on the body. It starts, either hangs on the shoulder, or it hangs on the bust, or it hangs on the waist, or the neck, or the head. So here we're hanging it on the shoulder. So whatever you do, you start putting the buttons from top to bottom. You don't start putting random places and then go upwards. You start from top and bottom. We've already put the buttons for the shoulder, which is more not for the joinery, but it's for the show. So these lines automatically happen. You don't have to design them; they happen on their own. The consistency of putting buttons will come slowly. You don't have to worry about that. That will happen. You can always mark the fabric, or you can actually take, like, you put a button here and put a button here, divide it into half, and put the button in the center, and then divide that into half and put the button in the center. That way you'll get the buttons at equal distance. You don't have to do the marking. So that's how you can get the buttons at the equal distance. So we will start making the garment here. So we have to attach the buttons on the side. Yeah. So I'm just going to place the fabric in the right place. And this is where so leave some space from the, this thing. You don't want it too tight. I'm just going to put one button here. Yeah. So this is my button, which is here at the edge. I'm just going to put another button which matches right here. So it has to match. So I can overlap and put the button here, or I can just take this and put this here. So this is connected to, now you can connect this to this and this to this, just for the, make sure that it's strong. Yeah? So this is now connected. So it's as simple as that. Now we will connect the other side, so that same way. So I'm just going to take a button and a rubber band. And this is the other side of the fabric.
So I have a question. If this was a translucent fabric,
Yeah.
would you have to do the same thing with the lining? How would you?
So if there was a lining, then we will attach them together right from the beginning. So these buttons will be all attached together in the lining itself. So the lining and this fabric will be attached together. You don't have to do it separately. Yeah.
Okay.
But of course, you can start separating the lining somewhere. But the lining is to attach here also. And then from there, here onward, the lining would be separate. And you can attach the lining inside separately and this outside, which we do in cottons. So now this is here. the second joinery which I told you can be used here. So instead of putting a button here and attaching it, I'm just attaching this with, yeah. So this is also attached. This is also attached. So both of them are attached now. Now we have to, so this is kind of ready. You can actually now on here, so it's as simple as this. So instead of stitching the whole thing, in this case we are, so what I can do is I can just see if I want to attach this in title. So either we put one button here, or we can put something here. So I'm just going to put one button in here so that it's shaped. Yeah, so this is attached here. So see, this is now attached. You don't have to put buttons very close. The distance between this button and this button is about close to 6 inches. So nobody will be able to do this and it won't open on its own. So don't have to worry about like, will it show from inside or not. So this is done. I will also do the same. Also what we can do, if let's say if I want this to go underneath so that nothing is showing. So if I want to cover it like this, I will put a button here. So wherever you want to take the fabric, you just put a button. Now this button goes at the back somewhere here, and I can just feel the button here, and I hold this on top of it and I connect. So now, if you see, this is connected with a button at the back. Yeah. Now this is free, so I can connect it here. Yeah. I can actually connect it here, or I can let it fall here and connect it wherever I want. So this is how you keep connecting it. This further can go down, and just showing you how to finish the. So this side is going to be free flowing. So I'm just going to put one button here. It can be random or it can be a fixed distance, but I'm just doing it randomly. The idea is, how do you let the fabric fall? So the fabric actually tells you where to put the button. I mean, a lot of time designers think that they can they decide where the button has to come on, how the design of the garment has to be. But if you listen to the fabric tells you where it should be, where the button has to fall. So the fabric is always telling you where it wants the button to be. So in this case, I'm just going to put, this is one of the last buttons that I can put. And if you see, this garment is actually now connected. So this side is ready, this side is ready. This has to be connected to one more place just to make sure it doesn't come off, which we can always do later. So I can put a button from in the inside and just overlap it. Just put that inside and overlap it wherever I want. So the placement of button can really change, and you can place the button wherever you want, just wherever you want to connect. So this is really connected. Now you can start shaping. So this is a very loose, easy, beachy, on the beach kind of a garment, but I can actually now start shaping the garment. So let's say usually we have a dart somewhere here. So I can shape the garment by putting a button here. I can put another button there, and I can just put another button somewhere here.
So now when you're doing something like this, and let's say I was marking the fabric, what should the distance be ideally between two marks? How close or far? How do you decide the close, far?
See, that's just usually like a grid is like, these buttons are about 2 inches away, about 1.5 inches away, these ones. So it depends on the size of the button and the distance. So you can always put 2 buttons and see how far you want them.
I suppose it's also for the use, right? Because I see on top where the shoulder is and you want it narrower, the buttons are much closer.
That's on the area and how far you want, and depending on the size of the button. So if I use a button this big, the distance would be slightly bigger or different, because it also has to accommodate this button. So these are the two buttons that are now put. So I can now connect this to this. Yeah. So this is a shape that I've got. So I can keep shaping. Also, what we can do now, once this is ready, so you don't have to keep wearing the garment the same way. I've just put a button here, and it's a bead that I put, but I can put a button if you just to show people more clearly.
Okay. There's also a question by Neetu who wanted to know. Not wait. Hang on. Sorry, by Shilpa, who said that can you do you have also like can you also make a summary top out of a mal dupatta perhaps?
I can show you how to do it very quickly, just like with the fabric that I have right now. So just tell, yeah, so I can do that. I'll show you how it can be done just after this. So in this case, I put a button at the edge because we have this extra fabric, which is, so it's a long dress. It's a long dress, which is basically, so it's a long dress which I picked up the button from here. I put one button here, and I can just see where it goes. So it can go here. It can go anywhere. So your fabric, see, there is a beautiful fall to the fabric, and we're not creating the fall. It's already there. So that's the joy of it, that you don't have to. So I've just taken it here and I put this and connected this to this guy here. If you see, I've connected it here. I can take the back and also connect it the same way. I can also take the back and bring it here. I can take one piece of button and connect it to this guy or somebody else, someplace else. So you see, this is and I can just quickly remove it. And I can just bring this over here and connect. Yeah. So if you see, I can take this and so I can connect it. No. So it actually can connect almost everything. You just have to keep draping it in different ways. But I can also carry like smaller things for myself. So you can carry a sanitizer bottle also, for example. Yeah. So it can actually take the weight. You can even carry a water bottle inside a fabric if it can carry the weight of the bottle. So if I really want to attach a bottle, then I can attach a bottle also. This is a paper, this thing. You can also hook something. You can also, like, there are lots of hacks that can happen through this technique. You can actually hang a pen using the technique.
I know one of the things that you've done is you've embellished it then further with little bits of waste fabric, right? To make like little pom-poms and things
Yeah,
like
so
that.
I have this, I know I can teach you how to make a flower out of it. So what you do is you take rectangular pieces of fabric. Uh, so I just want to show you a chair which is actually here. The chair has, if you see, this is the like a flower made, but the flower is actually just a piece of button with a rubber band. So what it has is a few pieces of fabrics. So I took pieces of fabric which is square to begin with, not so they are square pieces of fabric. You put a piece of button in between, hold it like that, and just put a rubber band around, and then it becomes a flower, which you can actually later cut it up or using so you can take a scissor and just clean it up. Yeah, so it becomes a nice flower, and that flower can actually then either go into the So if you see, these are all buttons. Yeah. So they go into the grid, or you can also attach it to a piece of.
You have to move the screen. Yeah.
I'll just show you how it can be attached to the. So I can just quickly, I can take this. So this is now attached to, so I have a pretty flower attached to my, so this is just a waste fabric exercise. You can always, so this is good to make something soft and fluffy. We also made shoes using this. This already has holes inside it. So we're just passing them through the holes. Yeah. So if I remove one of these, then there is a hole underneath. So there is a hole which you can, and you put that back inside. So the button has to be just 1 inch bigger, as one size slightly bigger than the size of the hole.
Now, I have a question. If you were using, let's say, now, you do see the button slightly through, especially if you were using, let's say, a mull fabric, you would see the button through it, right? So in that case, do you use, okay, so you use a sequence, right?
Yeah, just to make it more, but it doesn't really, the button is just a choice. You can have colorful buttons. So I believe that every situation has its own advantage. As a designer, as a person, you have to look at the advantage and rather than looking at the problem within. So if something is showing from inside, then you use something that is good to show.
Right.
You can use it for that advantage, or you can double up the layer, or you can just put a button and then you put another, let's say, I'm just going to show you quickly this. Let's say if you have something which is showing, then I'm just going to take one small piece of fabric from here, and I can put it on top of this to remove the doubling of the showing of the button, if there is such an issue. Which in this case, you can also take, so like for example, I can take this, I can put this on top of it and put a button, like this thing. So I can change the color of the button itself, and I can remove the extra fabric from here. So if I remove this extra fabric, then you'll only be able to see just the white button. So as a technique, it has all possibilities, so nothing to really. So if you see, I have actually removed the. So now if you see, there's only white button that is visible.
Right.
Yeah. So you can always double up the fabric, add another piece of fabric. You can color but you can cover the button with the fabric and then put it inside the actual this thing.
So Ritvika is asking, was the cloth used for the dress cut? It was just two rectangle bits, right?
Pieces, yes. It's just two rectangular pieces and nothing more.
And could you also, I'm going to just ask you if you could just, turn the fabric around to show how you would make a neck line.
A neckline, just turn, I can get you, sorry.
No, when you drape two fabrics
and
you want a V-neck.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, for a V-neck, like this is a piece of fabric, for example. These are two pieces of fabric. I'll show you how. So these are two pieces. The dress is gone now. We had a dress before. Now it's actually not a dress anymore. These are just two pieces of fabric. This is just one piece of fabric. I'm just removed the. So you can take two pieces of fabric, like for example, this is two pieces of fabric. Yeah, this is just, yeah, the buttons are actually put in this shape. Yeah,
Right.
this pattern. So I'm just putting one piece. So I put it in a way that it starts from the center. So in this case, I will start putting the buttons from here, from the center, and then decide to go this way and that way, so that it's equally. So when you're in doubt, start from the center. In this, so here I put the button here in this way. So this is the center. I put it here. Like this is a summary top, and then I have another piece of fabric which is exactly the same way. It's actually just attach the sides also. We're just going to remove. The good thing is you don't have to fear removing it. Like I'm ready to remove the whole garment because it's okay. I can always put it back. So that's the beauty of it, that it doesn't scare you anymore.
Right. And I also noticed that because this is a cotton, it's not as clingy, and the design is also something that would work for
Yeah.
A person of any size.
Yeah, this is how you'll get a V-neck. So these are two pieces of fabric. I put the buttons in a way that I can just connect this to this, this to this, this. So if I connect this, so this is matches with this. So matching the buttons is a good thing. Instead of trying to like not match them. So this is like so this is already connected. All I have to do is to keep connecting them like that. By picking one of the rubber bands strands from there and putting it over. And if anything comes off, it's not such a difficult issue. You can always put it back. So we're using like the white blocks here to, and this is connected. You can also now shift it around and you can wear it like this, for example. Yeah. So this can be also worn like this. I just have to pick this up from here and start connecting.
Right. So that now becomes like a boat neck almost.
Another neck altogether. So
Yeah.
this is now a different neck altogether. It's a little too long, so you can make a sleeve out of it and just connect wherever you need to connect. This can also come from here, and if this is a long piece of fabric, I can just bring it here and attach it here. So that's a simple thing again. I can just take this, put it on top of this and connect. So this is connected. So you can actually just keep draping, and the fabric will always tell you how to go about it. It's in the fabric already.
So I have a question. When you're working with something like, let's say, a sari pallu, right?
Yeah.
Which is already a predefined width, which means that and you don't want it to become too narrow. It's just you use smaller buttons and space them further away.
Yeah, so you just figure out how much spacing you need so that it doesn't really become too narrow. I mean, sari pallu is actually quite wide, so even if you put like 10 buttons, it will become slightly smaller, but that's just going to make it look even better. And not, but you can't put too many buttons that it becomes like a really small piece of fabric. Like for example, this is a piece of fabric that we have here. This is yeah. So because I put buttons, it has actually reduced. If you see, it has reduced this much. It has gone in like from instead of from here, it has gone in that much. So you
Yes, it's defining a waist, right?
This is the waist. So to make a simple dress like this, I have a piece of fabric with a big thing here. I have another piece which will attach with this button and that button. So I can really just have one more piece of fabric which is exactly the same and just attach it like that.
Wow, that's quite cool. So what has been like the most complicated sort of garment that you've made?
That's
This.
tougher when you It's really not complicated. Nothing is complicated in this because it's a very, very simple technique. Also because you can always remove the buttons and redo it. What scares you that, whatever you're doing will go waste if you go wrong. In this case, there's no going wrong and there's no wasting. So you're always free to try anything, do anything, and then remove it. We do it all the time. We remove the buttons from the fabric and keep changing. Nothing has ever been wasted from our garments because we really don't have to worry. So we can actually explore designs because we're not scared of the market. So this is probably the cheapest system in the world at this point of time. This is also the fastest system in the world. It is also the most sustainable because there's no cutting and no wasting. So even this piece of fabric can be put somewhere and used. So as in, this is probably one of the most finest thing that has happened in fashion because not because it's done by me, obviously. I mean, that's one reason I would say that, but it's even if I'd seen somebody else come up with it, I would still be in awe because it is a system which gives you so much. Like it has given me the pleasure of teaching so many people, kids of 5 years old, they are doing stuff. Like I know people in villages are making garments out of this now. So what we've been doing is that's why we've been only teaching people so that the technique spreads joyfully rather than keeping it to myself and becoming like a very famous multimillionaire designer.
Sorry, have you used this technique to make a conventional garment?
Yeah, I mean, all kinds of garments are made. I mean,
Like
you
a
can make
shirt.
a kurta or a shirt or something. It's just a joinery system. It replaces stitching. The shirt won't look exactly like a shirt, but it'll still be an attire which covers the body the way you want it, like a shirt. Because it's a slightly it eats up the space. So we have made t-shirts out of it where we use maybe just like 4 buttons to attach to the garment so that it doesn't really take that much space. So the t-shirt looks exactly like a t-shirt, but if I have to do a shirt, then it will probably take a lot more buttons, little more, and will look a little more fluffy and little more. Yeah, it'll gather up a little bit.
Um, and okay, so the garment that you have, the green and white one, Shreya wants to know approximately how long did it take for you to make the green and white garment with all of the buttons?
This takes about, if you start putting buttons, it will take about 1 hour to do one piece once you get used to it. 1 hour, other 2 hours to finish it off, 2.5 hours max. Because once you've done this, you can do any other garment. So this is just one amount of work. Once this work is done, you can keep doing many variations out of it. I can convert this into a skirt so this can become a skirt, this can become a top, you can also, like for example, I can just remove this and so this can become a nice skirt. Yeah. All I have to do is to connect this at the back, this at the back, so it's a nice beautiful skirt. I can also take this fabric and make it into a top like this. So this all I have to do is to take this at the back and connect it. So you can actually just reverse the whole process. And you can also do it inside out. So this will be inside out would be something like this. So usually a soft normal garment can be done in 10 minutes with depending on the number of buttons you put, it take time.
So one of the questions that is coming up is that, in all of the garments that you've demonstrated right now, you're using 2 different pieces of fabric. Is it possible to make something using a single piece of fabric, like let's say a single dupatta?
You can just take one piece of fabric and drape it around the body and connect it wherever you need to connect. So we do garments with 1 piece of fabric or 2 pieces of fabric, but you would still need like a 2 meters to make a dress like this at the bottom, or about 2 meters, 1.5 meters for the top, or so.
the orange gamcha that you have,
Yeah.
can you just like drape it on the form just to show like something that, because that's like a dupatta, let's say.
Yeah, this is like a dupatta. Yeah. So this covers like a full length. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you were using it to make just a top.
So then if I was using as one piece, then I want obviously want it to go front and back. So I will probably start from the center. Like, okay, so I will take the center of this and I will make the garment quickly, just for people. So you start from the shoulder. I put one button here. I'm leaving some space at the bottom. Just that's done. I'm also going to put one button here. So this is two buttons I've already put. Now this will go at the back and come here, and this will go and come and back here. So you
Right,
have
that becomes the sleeve.
yeah, this will become your armhole. Of course, it cannot do more than this because and you have to make sure that it covers the back. So this comes to the back of the center back. This will also come to the. So that's why I've divided it to half so that you get an equal amount of. Yeah.
Right.
This, and then I can keep connecting this to this and this to this.
Right, right. And then it becomes like a back open thing or a front open thing, whichever way. Right. So
I also ask, do you first ideate the design before you start?
yes.
No, I neither draw nor ideate. I have an idea that this is the fabric because we work with all the fabrics by now. We like to put the buttons and then see what it can become. It's so much nicer to let the fabric speak what it wants to become. Basically, there are two kinds of drivers. One is a daddy driver and there is an Uber driver. The Uber driver is the one you tell him to in the night that I want to go there. Like I want to go to party and I'm really drunk. The Uber driver will still drop you. And there is a daddy driver who you tell in the afternoon that I want to go to a friend's birthday party. He'll say, no, we'll go to temple. Designers are like Uber daddy driver. They want to decide much in advance what they want fabric to become. Ideally, it should be let the fabric tell you what it wants to become. We should be the Uber driver in this case and let the fabric tell us where it wants to go. So we're transporter, not creator. And I see myself as not as a person who decides for fabric what it wants to become. I am someone who wants to see what the fabric wants to become and just take it where it wants to go.
So what is the fabric that you personally use the most?
I like cotton, which is malmal, gamcha fabric. Gamchas, actually a lot of gamchas because they have checks and knit. Silks, I used to like, but they're so expensive that I don't feel like using them
anymore. Right. And then, of course, again, there's the question of how do you cover up the raw lining after cutting the fabric? But here we've established that you use that edge to make it, you accentuate the edge.
Stitch the edges if you want the edges, but later after you've made the garment, or you can first finish the edges and then make the garment.
Right. So you could always fold it and attach buttons as well so that that edge is not visible.
You can always, like, say, for example, this is the raw edge. I can actually fold it like this. Yeah. And after I can put the button wherever I want. So if I want to put the button here, I can do that. I like to not hide the raw edges. It feels like I'm cheating. So I like the idea of, so this is now the raw edges have gone inside, and I hope you guys can see that. Now I'm putting a peanut inside it. Let's see if it works. It does probably. So actually the advantage is if you put peanuts when you're hungry, you can take them out and eat. That's a peanut and that's a bee. You can put lentils, you can put turmeric, you can put ginger, you can put anything that you want. Really, the shape doesn't matter. And now I can, if I want to make a pocket, then I just have to attach this to the t-shirt and it will become a pocket.
So are there any other questions now that the demonstration is done? Are there any questions that anybody would like to ask? Also, is there somebody who's actually done anything during this demo? If you would like to share what you actually made, I can.
Yeah, I don't know who all has been watching. I've been so engrossed in myself, actually.
Orgo will send you the list of the people,
Yeah.
but yeah, you can see. So
hey, hey Anuj, Orgo here. So we had lots of people. We had I think at its peak we had about 38, 40 people, and we had people from Sri Lanka, India, of course. We had Russia, we had Colombia, we had somebody from Germany, but obviously mostly from India, and lots of questions. So I think that was very cool. And we'll of course send you a list of participants at the end.
There are two more questions. Neetu wanted to know, is the grain line paid attention to while draping any garment?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, fabric will tell you, like, because the fabric has always been woven in a certain way, like it's like straight lines and, warp and weft. If you hold it like that, it will fall well. If you hold it little, you don't really have to worry about the horizontal or vertical, like the warp and weft so much. Unless the fall is really different, because of that, we don't much care much about it. We drape the fabric and see how it's looking. So because we're draping every single piece, there's absolutely no problem, because we can see if there is a fabric which is falling badly. We see the direction of the fabric. That's it. Don't worry about warp and weft is not such an issue in drapes. And stitching the garment, like by cutting it and stitching it again and again, which is what the stitching has done, then it's a problem, because then the grain line has to be followed. Or if there is a little skew in the angle of the warp and weft, it's otherwise.
So there are two people who want to know, how do you fix the flowers you made to the chair? How have you passed it through the weave?
The chair, the chair has
it's a regular cane weave, right?
The chair has cane holes. These are the holes here, if you look at it.
Yeah.
There are these holes here, you see. So all I'm doing is I'm taking this and I'm passing it. I'm just passing the thing from here, and it's passed.
The button is like just slightly larger than the whole of
it. Anyways, it's an adjustable size because of the weaving.
It opens.
It passes through the hole. So it just passes through the hole and just gets.
Right. So this is what I am attempting to make. It's with two kitchen towels.
Can you highlight yourself?
Let me do that.
Guys, you can always ask me questions later.
Yeah. So, sorry. So this is what I'm attempting with two kitchen towels, because that's what I had at home. And I've gotten as far as the waist.
Yeah, so now all you need to do is to do the same at the back. And you smartly left the extra thing at the top. So you leave something, yeah.
Yeah, I have to.
You can fold a little bit, actually not needed, but you can. Yeah. You need to have enough space here. So you put one button here, one button there. You can have two also, but you start with one here, and
I have enough to overlap. So, and I did not have buttons, so I've actually been using
anything works. Anything works.
Pearl beads.
Yeah, perfect.
Which is why it's a little rounded, like.
So it's fantastic. You can also attach these buttons together later to tighten it. So you can attach one button to another. Yeah. You can. With the rubber bands, you can attach them to make it closer to each other after you made it. So you can make it loose and then tighten it later.
Right. Okay. So we'll go back to spotlighting your video. Yeah. Okay. So I think we don't have any more questions as of now. And I am going to, so what we are going to do is, if anybody has any queries or questions or wants to share what you're making with Anuj, you can do that via Instagram. But we also, Anuj has very graciously also said that on Monday at 4 o'clock, he is happy to do a follow-up question, a follow-up session. So if you have worked on your garments till then, and if you want to share it and show it to him, we will be having another Zoom session at 4 o'clock. So you can contact us on the same details as you did for this Zoom session. We'll put up the link. And at 4 o'clock, if you want to use your weekend, your Saturday and Sunday to work on something, Anuj will be happy to discuss that garment at 4 o'clock on Monday.
Perfect. Yeah, that'll be good. If anybody wants to do that, or if anybody wants to understand what to make next, then just take a garment and drape it around and start attaching them. Also, what you can do as an exercise, put one line of buttons in like a straight line, so that it is because once you've done that, like maybe just put like just like one line on top. So we try making a simple top with a few buttons, and then you can get back to us. Or you can just take one piece of fabric and drape it around using whatever rubber band, buttons, threads. And I will be able to give you feedback if you come back or you send me the message on Instagram, and then I will get feedback earlier and then help you on Monday at 4.
Yeah. So if you, so this is not this, but rather this is the detail. If you have any, if you want to share anything that you're making and you want Anuj to see it, his tag is Button Masala, at Button Masala, and you can tag us at Discover India by Hand. And the follow-up session will be on the 6th of April at 4 o'clock.
Also, somebody saying, what do we start making? So one of the things that you can make is, it's a time that we can make this is, I made this mask. You can make a mask by folding the fabric. So this is a fabric folded into half, like this fabric. So it's also a pocket, but it's actually a mask. So you can start making a mask for yourself. This is an extra, so 4 pieces of, there's a video on Instagram which you can have a look. So there's a mask you can make using the same technique. There's another mask which we have done in the knit fabric using the same. So you can start with a mask which can be help for somebody, or you can start making a garment. That's not a problem.
Okay, so Anuj, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Anuj.
Thank you.
And
Thanks everyone for coming. I have no idea who all saw me, but
well, lots of people saw you, and I also want to thank everybody who joined us from all around the country, as well as from our neighboring country, Sri Lanka, as well as from, I know we have one representative from Russia.
I'll make a mask which I want to show.
Oh,
you already have a mask. Oh, awesome.
I saw it on the Insta.
Thank you. Well done. Well done.
Thank you. And I'm using it also.
That's
Sorry, is that Alpi?
Hello?
would you like to share it with us?
Yeah.
What?
The mask?
Yeah, sure.
So this is the mask that.
Perfect.
And it's a single layer, so you can always double layer it also.
Yeah, this is double layered. Yeah, this is double layer.
Also, there is a, if you fold it like this, for example, then you can also insert another layer on a paper.
Yeah, this is double layer I have done.
This is double layer. You can
Double
insert
layer.
a
Yeah.
inside it.
Yeah.
You can also have a paper which is supposed to be good for it. So, and yeah, you can also do it in knits. Perfect. Awesome. So
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, great. So everybody, we will see you on Monday the 4th, and I hopefully will have my dress complete by then.
I have one last question here. Hello.
Yeah.
Anuj, this is not about fabrics, but about you. Natasha said that you were a dancer. What kind of dance do you practice? Or do you...
I'm to see you, so I'm just going to. You're not showing in my screen. I'm just trying to see if I can get a.
This is Ravi.
Ravi.
Yes, I'm Ravi from Sri Lanka.
There you go.
Sri Lanka, and Ravi is also a dancer.
I have this. I do garba. I can dance, but
Garba. Yep.
garba.
The famous NIT Garba.
I live in Ahmedabad.
And Anuj, to let you know, Ravi is a very famous dancer as well as choreographer and a percussionist.
No. Then see, listen, that's how you asking. No, not. No, I can dance. I can dance for a long time because we dance for about 8-9 hours every day, 6 hours, 7 hours.
Oh, that's right.
It's a great stamina to dance, but we do garba, like, so you go into a trance and you keep going same step. It looks pretty boring for someone who's not dancing, but it's fun for us. I've not done a single day of dance for 22 years after coming to Ahmedabad.
Okay. All right. So I am going to say thank you again and end this session. And we will see you on Monday at 4 o'clock.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you
Natasha.
very much,
Thank you,
everybody.
Anuj. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Be good.